Hello and welcome to lockdown fencing exercise video number 1 with me, Paul Beasley, via Zoom from my living room. So the plan here is we are going to do 10 exercises, some of which are very specific to fencing, some of which will just generally build the strength and fitness required to fence well. We're going to do 10 exercises for 30 seconds each, with 30 seconds rest in between. And then we're going to have a 2-minute break, and then we're going to do it all again, okay? But firstly, we are going to start with a little warm-up. And we are going to start by marching on the spot. So we're lifting our knees to about hip height, and the hands are coming up to shoulder height. Just turn sideways. My excellent technique. Okay, exercise number 2, it's very simple, arm rotations. The Michael Phelps butterfly of the arms, just with our hands that are quite so big. And reverse. Bonus points if you can make your shoulders clip like mine. I'm sure that's a sign of fantastic fitness. Okay, warm-up number 3, we're simply going to open the gate. I'm going to do 10 on each side, so that's 4 to my right. So stay nicely balanced, thigh up to parallel with the floor. And then swing all the way around 90 degrees. And the other leg. So this obviously does help the hip flexors, but also the piriformis, which is the muscle that actually helps produce this opening hip action. Okay, and next up we're going to do kicks to hands. So you're going to kick to opposite hand. Much more specifically for the hip flexors, this one. I'm not exactly someone who's known for his flexibility, so it's probably a good thing, because we've got a big lampshade, it's just above my head. If I was any more flexible, the lampshade would be under threat. Okay, on to number 5, fireman Sam. So lift an arm in the opposite leg, and then we're just going to cycle through. So this could be seen as climbing a ladder, but it can also be seen as running whilst punching something that's attacking you from above. Okay, good stuff. Next, we'll just do some lateral lunges. I don't really have the width here, so I'm just going to recover to my position and then lunge back the other way. And again, with these warm-up exercises, we're not looking to hold anything for any length of time. We want to be more dynamic and to move through a range of movement, okay? And the last one, we're going to do side kicks. So you try and balance on the one leg. You kick low, kick medium, and kick as high as you can. Turn it around. Balance, kick low, kick medium, and kick high. Balance, low, medium, high. Balance, low, medium, high. Low, medium, high. As you can see, I am not about to become a world champion mixed martial artist. Okay, so we now go on to the first of our 10 exercises. and time this. I'm going to use a 30-second timer. It gives us 10 beeps in, and then every 30 seconds it gives 1 beep. So the first exercise, this first 30 seconds is just my demonstration period. The first exercise is we're going to go on guard, really bend the knees, front foot in line with back heel, hand in the correct position, back arm hopefully in one of these looser, kind of more advanced positions, and then we're simply just going to tap in position, try and keep the heels off the ground. Okay? And from the front, this is how it looks. You see, my upper body isn't really moving much at all. It's the hip flexors doing the work, heels staying off the ground. That's it, keep it going. We're about halfway through, got 15 seconds left. Keep the heels off the ground, just lift the balls off the ground and keep tap, tap, tapping. We must nearly be there. Okay, good, shake it out. Exercise number 1 is done. Next up, we have bird dog, okay? So starting on knees and hands below shoulders, and we just try and fully extend opposite arm and leg, okay? And all we're going to do is hold for 2 seconds and then cycle through. And we have 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, well done. So the next exercise is simply 2 fencing steps forward, 2 fencing steps back. As I've said many a time, the fencing step is not a really long pulling action, it's a short pushing action. Pushing action, okay? So we've got about 3 seconds to go, and then we've got 30 seconds of 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, off we go. So you wouldn't necessarily create such an obvious pattern when you're fencing. So consider this to be either a technical drill and or a little footwork trap. Okay, well done, 30 seconds done. Next, mountain climbers. Okay, so you're going to brace yourselves on your hands just slightly wider than shoulder width. You start with both legs back and you bring one up through the middle. Then you alternate with a jump rather, and you point toes every time you bring a leg forward. And in position. Okay, tough on that. The next exercise is the tap tap lunge, okay? So the idea is we're tapping on the balls of the feet, and as we push the back foot down, that's when we launch the lunge, okay? Okay? And we start in 3, 2, 1, and go. Tap, tap, tap. As the back foot pushes down, lunge. Okay, 30 seconds done. Wait, this is definitely beginning to have a cardiovascular effect. Okay, next up we've got skydivers. So you're on the floor, hands behind head, and you lift your feet and your shoulders and arms off the floor, and you hold for 3. Okay? Off we go with skydives. So flat to the floor, hands behind head, and lift legs, arms, and shoulders for 3 seconds. Okay. So 6 exercises done, 4 to go. The next one, squats. Feet shoulder width, feet always flat on the floor. Bend the knees to 90 degrees so the tops of the thighs are parallel with the floor, and as we do it, extend the arms in front of you. Okay? In 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, job's a good one. 3 exercises to go, and then we get 2 minutes off, okay? So the next one is a plank up, where we start on our elbows in the plank, and we push up to the start of the push-up position, and then down again, up, and down again. This is like some incredibly futuristic mind at the moment, isn't it? Mime, rather. So, off we go. Start here, push up, and down, and straighten the arms, and down, straighten the arms, and down, straighten the arms, and down. This was really good for chest strength, which really helps you with your strength and cart line, but also helps really get the shoulders working to really stabilize your body weight. Okay, 2 to go. Sadly, probably the 2 most difficult ones. So, penultimate one. Side steps to sprint. So we're simply just moving across whatever space you have and then doing 4 high knee sprints. Side step back. And then we do the sprints on the other side. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Little side steps, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep working, get those knees high. 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay, step lunge, and then we get a 2-minute break. So, I have to go forwards with this. The idea with the step lunge, it's not just a normal step, it's a preparation. So the arm is nearly going to be extended up to at least shoulder height by the time you finish the step, and then complete the extension, lift the hand as you go into the lunge. Okay, off we go. Okay, first set done. Well done. 2-minute break, and we do it all again. So we get a drink of water. So for me, there's nothing particularly sore, or there's no sense of any hydrogen ions in the muscles. There's no burning. It's purely I'm not that fit. And my breathing rate is quite high as my heart tries to get back on top of the exercise I've just done, get the oxygen around my body and just bring me down to a more stable condition. Okay, so we've still got a minute and 15 of rest. So the idea here, as I said, 10 exercises, 30 seconds. 30 seconds resting between each one, and a 2-minute break, which is what we're doing now, and then we do the same thing again. Okay, so hopefully after that first set, you're going to get a sense of whether you pushed yourself hard enough, or whether you took it a bit easy and you've got a bit more for this second set, or you've gone off too hard and you just need to be a little more conservative, small c, not necessarily blue, in order just to see you through this second set of 10 exercises, okay? So that means we've got, I think, 30 seconds left of the rest, and then we go again. And this, I should say, is the first of 3 workouts. I'll do a new video every Thursday, so hopefully you'll do this video again, or maybe for the first time on Monday. Join me for the new one on Thursday. So there's going to be a bit of development of what we're doing. Okay, off we go. So the first exercise is the footwork taps from on guard, okay? Heels off the ground. Balls of the feet just lifting off the ground. And the work is from here, from the hip flexors. Just very little movement in my upper torso, okay? Which means I'm really isolating the hip flexors to achieve this technique. Okay, that's the first exercise done. Number 2 is the bird dog, okay? Not particularly cardiovascular exercise, but you're really good at that single leg strength and stability that we need for fencing. And we've got about 10 seconds until we make a start. So if you get yourselves in position, and when the beep starts and I start, please start exercising. Okay, exercise number 2 is done. Next one, footwork, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. There's a little bit of a hothouse here because the sun moves across in front of the bay window. If I have the blinds open for more air, you won't be able to see, but it's just a blinding light from the back. If I open the big front window more, our front garden's only about 3 feet wide, so anyone passing, you can hear them. So it's not ideal. Okay, in position. 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. Like I say, you wouldn't necessarily fall into this obvious pattern unless you know your opponent and they are likely to try and attack on one of these steps forward, in which case you might just put in a single step forward. See if you can draw them out. Okay, exercise 3 in the bag. Exercise 4, mountain climbers. I must admit, on the first set, this is when the cardiovascular effort really started to hit in for me. And obviously this will be even worse, or better, depending on what perspective you have. We've got about 6 seconds left to go. So let's assume the position. And off we go. Okay, next up, we've got a tap tap lunge, which I'm going to do facing forwards. Because when I do it sideways, I'm very mindful of not wanting to punch the antique clock that sits on that shelf. Whew. That's definitely got the heart rate up. Good old mountain climbs. Okay, tap tap lunge. Remember, we're trying to lunge as the back foot goes down. Okay. Whew. Skydivers next. Obviously, put it in here, not only because it's less cardiovascular than some of the exercises, but because it's really working core muscles. And it really helps us just kind of open up the back muscles. If you sit over a desk all day, you get very rounded. And the skydivers can really help you just stretch those muscles out. Remember, hold the position for 3 seconds. Really just trying to pike on your abs and your hips so everything else is lifted off. Exercise number 6 is in the back. Whew. Oh, this kind of replicates fencing in full gear because it's very humid in this space. But I don't really have any other space to go without breaking some kind of a lockdown ruling. So we've got 7 seconds to go, and we're into squats, okay? Feet shoulder width, keep the feet flat on the floor, and squat down so the thighs are parallel with the floor, okay? Try and keep the upper torso nice and upright, don't lean in. If you're really leaning in, that suggests you've got tightness somewhere that's really kind of limiting your chain of movement. And that will have an impact on your stability in the lunge. So let me know if you're really struggling to stay upright with the upper torso. Stop there. And whether you're really struggling to keep your feet flat on the floor, it suggests you need to work on some flexibility in some part of your postural chain. Okay, 15 seconds to go. Exercise number 8, the plank up. 6 and 5, so let's get into position. Now off we go. Okay, I'm going to say good work because I believe in you, Tunbridge Wells fencers, to put in a good shift so that when we do return to fencing properly, not just throwing shapes in our living rooms, you're going to be able to concentrate on technique much more quickly because your fitness is still solid, rather than just losing all your fitness and then getting burnt out quickly and not really using the training sessions properly when we do get back to it. Okay, number 9, side steps to sprint. Okay, thank goodness. Exercise 9 in the second set is done. Hopefully you worked at least as hard as me on that one. Maybe you got more space. But for me, I've only got about 3 small side steps, one way or the other. Fencing coaching doesn't necessarily make you rich, by the way. This is my living room. It's not my extra little space. Okay, finish with step lunges. So remember, the arm begins to extend on the step. Because really, there's a zone of risk as you go into the step lunge. Unless you really get your hand up on the step, you just get caught out to wrist. So you really got to get that hand up nice and smartly to really kind of cut out that dangerous middle ground. Okay, that's it. We're done with the exercises. Catch your breath. I know I need to suck some air in. Okay, so the thing we don't do really at all at Tunbridge Wells Fencing Club, which we need to do because we all finish at different times, everyone needs their own little warm down set of exercises that they do without fail every time. Because otherwise, all that training you do, you need quality recovery between each session to get the most out of it. And really the start of your recovery period is the warm down. So if you skip that, you're already compromising the recovery that's supposed to help you actually develop the strength and fitness that you were trying to achieve with fencing. So we're going to start with a lunge hold, okay? So into the lunge position, and we're going to hold for 10. And then we're going to straighten that front knee, bend the back knee, lift the front toe, and hold for 10. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to shuffle our front foot forward a little bit more, and then back into the lunge. And then bend that back leg, straighten the front leg, lift the front toe, and then really try and drop those hips. And then we're just going to shuffle that front foot out one more time, and then into the lunge again. So really try and make sure you're doing the right thing with all of your key body parts here, because this is also training muscle memory, muscle memory. What is the position that I want my body to get into when I lunge, okay? Okay, shake it up. Because a good lunge isn't just power. If you're really powerful, but completely inflexible, you have a really quick, short range lunge. What we want is a quick lunge that's as long a range as you can actually deal with. And these stretches at the end are just going to help you slowly to stretch that lunge out to make it more effective. Okay, cat stretch is number 2. So, on your knees, reach forward with the hands in front, about shoulder width, and then just push the hips back, and you should feel a stretch in your upper back and around your shoulders. And with these warm down stretches, we're looking for at least 15 seconds per stretch, really, because it's then sending a message to the body. We can relax now. We're not getting ready for action. We're relaxing. So it starts to relax some of that potential energy it has, and you're able to stretch out more effectively. Okay, number 3, the butterfly. Soles together, pull the feet towards you as much as is comfortable, and then just gently push down with your elbows on your legs. And once again, we're looking for a good 20-30 second stretch here, because we're trying to just stretch those muscles out, send a message to the body that the workout is over. We're going into recovery. You should feel your heart rate dropping as well. And so when we do go back to fencing, we haven't compromised our range of movement. In fact, hopefully, over time, we're going to slightly extend it. Okay, and the next exercise. One leg out straight, sole up, step over with the other leg, knee at about 90 degrees, and then hug that bent leg. And you should really feel this on the hamstring of the straight leg, and also around kind of where the glutes and the IT band come together up here. Okay, on the other leg. Once again, we're looking for at least 15 seconds on this stretch, if not more. And swap legs, give it a good hug. Once again, if you really lift the toe of that straight leg and really make sure the knee is pushed down and then really hug that front leg, you should get a dual stretch going on. Hamstring on one leg, maybe calves to some extent as well, and just around the base of the glutes on the other leg. Okay, that should do us. And we are going to finish with the pigeon pose, okay? So, hands just a bit wider than shoulder width. And then what we're going to do, and the knees are not quite 90 degrees. Let me try and do this sideways. So what we do is we bring one leg forward, and then we move the foot so it's across to the other side of the other leg. We reach forward with our arms, and then push the hips back, and you should really feel this around the top of the hip of the bent leg. It's called the pigeon pose, okay? If you're really good at it, you can just fold yourself down to the ground, but that's not going to be me. Okay, let me change legs. It's always a relief to know I can actually move after doing that. And one knee forward, move the foot across, reach forward with the arms, reach back with the other leg, push the hips back, and we're into pigeon pose on the other side. Okay, well that's it everyone. I say everyone, there may just be one person viewing this video ever in the future history of the world, however long that should be. And if you are just that one person, I thank you for joining me and following my lockdown fencing workout #1. My own personal ambition was to try and make my face the same color as my t-shirt, so I feel I've done a good job here. So again, it's down to you. You can obviously do this workout more than once. You've got to try and gauge your effort level so that it's progressive. You're not taking it too easy, you're not pushing too hard. Okay, that's really down to you and your level of fitness. But thank you for joining me, if in fact you have, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.